Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel with the latest updates from the United States of America. Elon Musk is creating enemies left, right, and center. Why? Because he's doing the right thing. He's fighting for free speech. He's fighting for independence and self-determination. And apparently that's a bad thing in the 21st century in the Western world. Okay, so apparently Elon Musk might be facing a 5-year in jail and also a massive fine. Actually, not really a massive fine for him because it's like pocket money, £214,000 worth of a penalty. But he's not the only one. We're going to talk about all this because Elon Musk recently has been, let's just say, angering a number of establishments. On the one hand, he is at war with the British government and Keir Starmer. Obviously, that's not really anything new because he's been trolling the British government for the past couple of weeks. But also we have the liberal mainstream media in the United States and the US Democrats. They're also going for him. The European Union want to shut down his platform X and ban him. So you've got the British government, he's got the US government, he's got the European Union, and now the French authorities. I know. The French authorities. Why? Because this human, who's a boxer, Iman Khalif, decided to have a bit of a meltdown because he says cyberbullying is happening because of people like Elon Musk. Obviously, as you might know, Iman Khalif fought against a feminine woman, a female boxer in the Olympics, and obviously he won. And the whole controversy started. Now, it's not directly a transgender, but of course, because of his masculine attributes, there were a lot of people who were not happy about that fight, right? Obviously, people like Elon, people like J.K. Rowling, they all decided to criticize, and now, because Iman Khalif is getting a lot of cyberbullying, he decided to go to lawyers and the French authorities to say, well, it's the fault of J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk and others, including Donald Trump, going after every single person that he can. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the French authorities, obviously the lawsuit itself, these guys will be facing a £214, pound in terms of the currency exchange, worth of a fine as a penalty, but also a 5-year prison sentence. So obviously, as long as Elon Musk doesn't go to France, it's fine. But if he does go to France, or they might have to extradite him. The issue is the various governments are now going to be fighting over each other in order to extradite Elon Musk. The British government, well, not necessarily the British government, it's the Metropolitan Police and Scotland Yard want to extradite potentially Elon Musk. The French authorities might want to extradite Elon Musk, and so basically they're going to have to find a way to compromise. Maybe they can share him. He could serve a bit of a prison sentence in France, and he could serve the rest of it in London, and maybe he could also go to the European Union somewhere in Brussels, perhaps, to do that. Now, going back to this, and the reason that obviously this whole saga is now escalating, obviously Iman Khalif and the lawyers have come out to say about firstly possible repercussions for cyberbullying itself in France is the actual prison sentence as well, but because of the French justice system. Online hate speech could also get you fined between £64,000 to £214,000, right, in France itself. The lawyers said J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk are named in the lawsuit, among others, obviously. And the argument from the lawyers is, what we are asking is that the prosecution investigates not only these people who are actually cyberbullying Iman Khalif online, but whoever they feels necessary. If the case goes to court, they will stand trial. So they will basically say, Elon indirectly or directly, doesn't matter, inciting violence. He hasn't, by the way. That's according to the French authorities, the French establishment. So the French believe Elon is responsible for the chaos that happened in the Olympics. The British government and Mark Rowley and Metropolitan Police believe that Elon Musk is responsible for the riots in the UK, which makes no sense because the moment he started speaking out, the riots stopped. All that's happening. He also added, the lawyer said that Donald Trump tweeted, so whatever or not he's named or obviously not, he's obviously looked into as part of the prosecution and investigation. Obviously going after an incoming president of the United States, that's a very, very bold thing to do. J.K. Rowling, of course, is also now responsible, apparently, because she said, watch this whole thread and then explain why you are okay with a man beating a woman in public for your entertainment. This is in sport, from the bullying, cheating, red, all the way up to the organizers who allowed this to happen. This is men reveling in their power over women. Donald Trump himself also came out following that fight. He said, I will keep men out of women's sports. For one social media post, for one sentence, one comment, they're also coming for Donald Trump. Now, what will happen if he's now president and he has to go visit France? It's going to be a little bit of a problematic situation. Of course, the IOC itself, responsible for the Olympics, they also have a lot of things to answer because I think they seem to be cancelling boxing now from the Olympics. It's completely ludicrous. The whole thing is ludicrous. But my favorite part of the story is the fact that you now have the European Union wanting Elon and his head, the Metropolitan Police in the UK, the US Democrats in America, and now the French. That's 4 different groups after a man who's done absolutely nothing wrong. And of course, they also want Trump. Everybody wants Trump anyway, for no reason. And J.K. Rowling is always a target. It's completely chaotic. Trump said something interesting a while ago when it came to the prosecution of the whole, obviously, former president by the judiciary in America. He said, and he was right, Trump said, they're not necessarily coming for me. They are coming for you, and I'm in the way. And he is symbolically the rest of the American voters, the Trump voters, the Republicans, the conservative-leaning Americans. And the same is applied to Elon Musk. It's not necessarily about Elon, but it's about what Elon now represents. Obviously, free speech and his pro-free speech platform X and everything else. So that's why they come for these people. Flossy Top says he has a rocket so he can go where he wants. That's true. He could just fly over France and avoid landing. Or we could just switch off the satellites. That would be fun. Blackfish Blue says, your previous video brought tears to my eyes. This is a nightmare. Please keep giving us hope. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I gave you tears. That's not nice, is it? Paul says, Maya, are you going to do the same as Paul Thorpe and gradually phase yourself away out of YouTube? That's not the plan, of course. Unless the channel disappears itself, I will not voluntarily leave YouTube, of course. So for now, we shall continue the fight. And the daily news. Stone Island says that they panicked when he shut down Starlink. Mike says, Insane Main is butthurt and is trying to cash in on the perceived slight, just as the Syrian bully who was allegedly waterboarded and tried to con cash out of Tommy. Yep. Sparrow says, Great Washington State. Brilliant. Is that flag of Chile? Chile. Oh, that could be anything. Is that the actual flag? Okay. Sorry, I'm just all over the place tonight. God bless. And our fault, mass immigration. Nah, it's Elon's fault. Basically, it's Elon. Mandy's back. Thank you, Mandy. Saying, Article 10 of the Human Rights Act 1998 clearly states everyone has the right to freedom of expression. This right shall include freedoms to hold opinions. Therefore, how did the PM remove these rights? Surely this should go through Parliament. You do realize all these legislations and acts are meaningless when it comes to the United Kingdom. They can override them overnight, and that's the whole point. In fact, as part of our 2CTV Plus platform, we have a new documentary or short series, original series coming up called Free Speech. hosted by Stephen Barrett, the barrister and the friend of 2CTV. And he actually, in that show, which will go up in a few days next week, he explains why, for example, in the UK, we actually already have, at this point, blasphemy laws. We actually have blasphemy laws. Without you knowing, we already have it. And that's the problem. So what you read from legislations or human rights acts or anything from back in the day, the common law or the Magna Carta, they are meaningless because of the power of the executive. And of course, Supreme Court's creation of Tony Blair. We have a very, very crazy super chat from Ransom2. It's £200 super chat. Whoa. Thank you so much. I don't know your actual name, but I really appreciate it. Thank you. You didn't have to. That's a crazy, crazy idea. I'm going to get bombed on a lot of carrots. Thank you. And Robert says, Elon will check in with the professor. Yes, suck on these nuts. That was... Google it, guys. Because obviously Elon's been basically trolling everybody. The British establishment, the European Union... and many others, and his response is basically just to come up with like either puns or insulting nicknames. It's brilliant. One of them is suck on these nuts. Joel says, love your show, Maya. A new member from the US. I see what's going on over there as a warning of what is coming over here, which is kind of ironic. Usually we wait in Britain and in Europe to see what happens in America, and then it gets here. Now it's the other way around. Mandy says, no, I did not know that. Yeah, it's completely crazy. Anything you think you know about the legislations and human rights are meaningless now because of the powers of the executive and the Supreme Court in the UK. We basically Americanized the system without the checks and balances. At least the Americans have checks and balances to an extent. We don't even have that anymore. The checks and balances here are supposed to be the crown. Where is the crown? Not really sure what it's up to, apart from getting treatment, of course. That's on a personal level. But... the rest of it, because it doesn't have to be necessarily the king himself. The crown is above the king. The king is simply the protector of the crown. We're talking about the palace. Where is the palace? Thank you, Jackie Foster, for your super chat, super sticker. Blackfish Blue says, I'm a big softie. They threaten Maya, and I finally cry. And that's good. It shows I have a heart, not like certain prime ministers. That could be many prime ministers these days, not just Keir Starmer, but also Justin Castro Trudeau as well. I just checked in here, but I assure you there is zero chance of Elon going to jail. Yeah, obviously he's not going to go to France. He's just going to pay the fine. He's not going to pay the fine, obviously. He's going to refuse everything. Then they're not going to win the case. They are not going to win the case against Elon or even J.K. Rowling or Trump or anybody. None of it makes sense. They are saying they are responsible for cyberbullying that happened against Imam Khalif. That they are not responsible for the cyberbullying that, again, according to French law, you can get fined. Because you think the situation is bad in the UK, go to France. It's complete mental, it's insane. But they cannot blame Elon Musk, for example, or others for what's happening. Firstly, they said it from a different country. I know the French don't want to respect, the French authorities don't want to respect sovereignties and borders. But what are you going to do? Extradite them? They genuinely think they can extradite Elon? They're not going to win the case. Fast and Furious boxing. I can see the resemblance. Oh, God. Don't get yourself banned, guys. Class says, royalty are nothing but a tourist attraction. I find it interesting that all these fake 100 protests were supposed to happen the day after King Charles asked for daily updates on the riot. This is for us plebs to think that the monarchy, the royalty, is for tourist attraction. That's the distraction. The monarchy in the UK still calls the shots across the world, and by the monarchy, I'm not necessarily talking about the royal family itself, the palace, because that's the part of the actual state and the deep state. They have directly. They have to be consulted with it when it comes to MI5, MI6, and everything else. Keir Starmer's cabinet is the king's government. It's not our government, it's His Majesty's government. Obviously, unlike other countries, some of the Scandinavians and others who have symbolic royal families, and they are just for tourist attractions. But here, they want to undermine the monarchy so that we see the royal family as some sort of like a celebrity family. It's just for tourist attraction, so that you don't think about what's actually going on in the palace. and the teams behind the crown, who might not even tell William, for example, what's exactly going on, but they would know everything about everyday stuff, all the deep stuff that happens behind the scenes, including what was happening in the riots. Of course, the palace was already being consulted. That was just for the news update, saying, oh, by the way, the king has spoken, he wants update. He was already being updated. That's part of his daily briefing. And at least his team and his secretaries. Chelsea. We've reached 630, have we? Oh, I need to update the page. This is going up very fast now. It was on 628 when I started. Hang on. There we go. Ready? Look down here. Oh, bae. 630,000 subscribers. Thank you. Paul is back saying, anybody that runs away and leaves us normal people to deal with that's coming will never be welcome back when we win. So are you claiming, for example, people like me and like, I don't know, Paul and others are not normal people? Are we some sort of elitist people now? We're like powerful people. I'm still a pleb. Also, obviously, the many others, I'm not naming names. We have all the people who are being named, political activists, freedom speech advocates, campaigners, political commentators, podcasters. Yeah, they are the ones doing the fight. I'm a news broadcaster. I report the news. That's my job. I'm not in politics or party politics. I haven't been in years. I'm not fighting. I'm not on the front line, for the record, but I'm simply fighting for access to information and news. I will continue to fight for that, but that's it. I'm not doing any revolution. Don't look at this. What am I going to do? Judith says, I just joined 2CTV despite being out of work. We need you safe. Consider fleeing to Florida. Love from Austria. Thank you, Austria. And Molly says, Trump will use his money brain to make sure that they know who the boss by importing tax. Yeah, he could just put more tariffs on French wine as a punishment. Oh yeah, Philippines. Yeah, of course. I'm all over the place with the flags. Migrated to the US. Yes, thank you very much for informing me again. And Turner says, can't believe the Labour councillor has a pre-trial date in September. What happened to quick full force of the law? It doesn't apply to that. So this is about the guy, the Labour councillor, of course, name. The guy who did this, the guy who said that we need to target people's throats, anybody who's right-wing, far right. And he was arrested and everything else is suspended by the Labour Party. We have to wait for another month to see his trial and pre-trial date and everything else. Whereas all those who were in protests, not just the riots, but also protests or posting emojis on social media, they've already been sent to jail. Disgusting. You and Paul Thorpe are people's voice, the people's voice. It would be a shame to lose either of one of you. Don't leave us to the world to see. I'm not going to go anywhere. Even if I go to Mars, I'm sure I would still have Wi-Fi, by the way, for the record. Stone Island says, tourism is being replaced with terrorism in the Western world. Well, that's just dark. And Super Sicker from Maryland, thank you. And the last one says, everyone ring in sick on Monday. The country would be screwed. 1 week sick. Well, they did weeks of chaos during the lockdown. They came back. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this was the latest update from the situation in France, going after people in America and the United Kingdom, including Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.